Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you all for being here. My name is Trav. We've got Eric, and then we've also got Quantic on the way here. Eric is joining us from Hermes World. Eric, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm
Thank
going
you.
to introduce you here in a quick sec, a little bit more deeply here, and then we'll get into the conversation. But before we do, I just want to thank once again everyone here who's with us. We are currently streaming live on X, YouTube, Twitch, and Pump.fun. So to everyone here on all of our platforms, pleasure to be back here with you guys. And if you guys have the opportunity, if you guys gain any value from our stream today, please feel free to engage with the post, whether it's a comment, like, repost, any of those things. That goes such a long way for us. And we really appreciate every single one of you guys. So without further ado, Eric from Hermes World. This is the second app that you have built, and this one here sounds pretty friggin' spectacular. You know what? We need to stop right now. We need to test out with Quantic. Quantic, you're here with us. Can you hear us? Are you coming in clear?
Yes, I think it's working now, right?
You are crystal clear, my friend, and your sound is silky smooth. So whatever you've done, bravo, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Just for context, Eric, I was just having this call with Trav and I was like, dude, I'm connected multiple agents now. Life is amazing. Like I feel like it's like I live in another dimension. And at the same time, my entire system crashed. And it has been because I've been playing with agents to do my setup. I purchased another monitor and I'm trying to set up things with the camera, with the microphones, and let my agents do the work. And here we are. Something happened, something broke, but let's continue.
Awesome. Glad that everything's working out now.
Perfect.
We
So
will see. We will see.
so far, so good here. We can hear you, we can see you, and that is a win in my books here. So, yeah, it's been a heck of a week there, team. Here, I know Web3 matters to start off with. We've had a lot of wins this week here. What was maybe Quantic? I'm going to start by chatting with you, my friend. What were some of your highlights from this past week?
So like I was telling you, the main thing that I've been working on this week is being like agent system moving from, you go from your ChatGPT stuff to Hermes to then having Hermes connected and interacting with other things. I have my own cloud code session for work. So interacting with these systems has been like the main thing that I've been using most of my time. And I can see why people get so addicted to this and they don't get nothing done that they can show because a lot of the things that I've been working on are just internal, just fixing how the connections work, how the agentic system should work, how to get things done, so I can just use my smartphone and provide the instructions, and then my agents do things on separate sessions, but they keep connected and they can interact with themselves. I think that Eric can tell us a lot more about this stuff while he has been building this amazing game. But yeah, bottom line, what an amazing time to live.
No kidding, man. No kidding. And I've
Yeah.
yet to dive into the depths of AI agents as you have here, but hearing some of the changes that you've experienced from doing that. I mean, the fire is raging, and I appreciate that here. So yeah, Eric, let's send the mic over to you, my friend. How's your week? Any highlights you wanted to share, and then we can dive right into the conversation.
Yeah, first of all, we've had a show before me and Quantic and Kobe as well, we've discussed other things, agents earlier in the space, maybe a month ago or so. I'm not even aware, but it's been a long journey, and I see that he's adapting, using it more, and I think more and more people will start to do the same over time. Everything's kind of trending on X more than other platforms. So if you're on X more, you kind of pick up on what's trending, what to use, and how everything's going. Personally, for me, I've been using Hermes Agent and OpenClaw for the last few months. I've dialed it in really well for my use case. I've built apps. I shipped a open source project that hit 5,000 GitHub stars right now, Hermes Workspace, and I also released the game, which honestly was just like a concept um, of for the hackathon. So they were both the projects were for the news research hackathon. First one was Hermes Workspace, and then the second was this one. This one was a creative hackathon. So I got creative. Figured out, hey, what if we can play a game and chat with our agents in the game instead of in the chat box, so I set out to build that, and I built the first version. I published it. The co-founder of the company, he retweeted it, and that's when it kind of went trending on X. And then out of nowhere, somebody launched a token, gave me the fees, and then everything has spiraled from there, and I just have been
Wow,
building the game. Yeah, and
man.
that's pretty much how it's been.
What an ascension. That's phenomenal. Okay, first of all, there's a bunch I want to react to on that here. The idea, the premise of the game, first of all, is mind blowing, and I truly love that. It's games or gamified practical tools. So like, you're basically making something that is going to add value to your life fun, and I think that's phenomenal. So maybe at some point we can actually maybe share your screen and show us a little bit about what that looks like. I'd love to check that out here. But then
Yeah,
that
definitely.
that swift rise in popularity to the fact where you were trending on X and then received all of the fees from a dedicated token is also amazing, man. What was that like when you kind of received that validation from the community that this is something that is very well received?
Yeah, I mean, it first took me by surprise. I wasn't really sure what was going on. Somebody said, "Hey, I'd like to donate to your project. Can you send me a wallet address?" So I just replied to it, and then next thing they just launched it, and then I started getting fees. It blew up on Twitter, and I was, just trying to figure out like what is going on, like, and then it got me to realize like, hey, this is kind of like the new age of Kickstarter or crowdfunding in a way, but people bet on you and your project, and it's up to them if they want to, invest, do whatever. That's like really what I've seen, and what I want to do to make it more full circle is add utility in the game with the token. So that's what I've been working on. Yesterday I released version 1.1, which is a native Mac and Windows client, so people can join in and play our base game and explore. People have been playing it here and there. I've been developing the web version, which I'm pretty much almost done with, and then the utility aspect is the other part. So you get exclusive stuff in the game if you're a holder, and then eventually, I want it to be so you can purchase stuff in the game, fully incorporated in its own in-game currency.
Man, that's really freaking exciting here. So what I want to pass the mic to you here in a quick sec there, Quantic, 'cause I'd love to hear your reaction to all of this here, but I'd love for you to actually introduce the game. Like, what's the name of it? How can people check it out? Do you have an X account for the game as well? Like, how's all of this working?
Yeah, so the website for the game is Hermes-World.ai. So it's Hermes World, that's the name of the game. It was built from Hermes agents. I can share my screen if that's something that you guys want. But
Absolutely.
yeah, okay, cool. I'll go ahead and share it. Screen, entire screen, window. There it is. So this is the landing page. Something pretty basic. I just whipped up. Eventually, I'll develop this. This is in the roadmap, but it just is a way to enter the game. Right now, the game that is playable on the browser is the V0, what I was mentioning to you guys. So this was the concept.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, this was the concept, 100% AI generated with my agent, and it has different zones, different maps, and the premise of it is you can join, your agent can join, you guys can talk and play, and other people can play Quest. And the other part of the game was that you would also learn about Hermes Agent through playing the game, doing quests, and stuff like that. The game is now graduated to this version, which is this is like the
What?
teaser video that I've released, and I'll show you some footage as well. But this is the standalone running on a Windows computer, and the biggest issue I have right now is just putting that back into the web, which I'm pretty much there with. But shrinking such a crazy game into a web browser is like an issue, but I'm pretty much almost good to launch that. Um, the X account for the game is x.com/Hermes World. X.com/Hermes World
Okay,
AI.
while you're pulling that up here, I just like let's not speed through what we just experienced here.
Yeah,
Seeing I'm lost for words here. Seeing the growth, the evolution of your game from that first screen share to the second, like are there even words to describe how much of an ascension that was? That was massive, man. Like
no,
that's like
definitely.
World of Warcraft level graphics here, but with a Web3
Yeah.
And
integrated
all built
AI
by
integrated game.
agents.
Yeah,
Yes,
And all
100%.
built by
So the way
agents.
Yeah, the way I'm building it is I have one main agent, and that's the same person or agent that I use to build all my projects, but the focus right now is the game. It orchestrates a swarm of other agents, so persistent agents. So it's not just like a sub agent. You can spawn a sub agent to do a task, for example. They complete the task, and that's it. This is a persistent agent with its own memory, context, access to files, and it orchestrates 12 of them doing different things, working on different parts of the game, doing research, testing, building, deploying it, and then also the agent's working on other things on its own end. So this is how it's like a fully automated pipeline. And now that Opus 4.8 actually just released, it's even better. I was on a bug for like a week, like, and Opus 4.8 came out, and it's powering through everything. So now the game development is going to be even crazier.
that's unreal, man. So okay, so many questions here in Quantic. I got to get to you here in a quick sec, but I'd be remiss if I didn't ask this one here while we're right on the point. So, what do you attribute such a monument, like such a gigantic evolution to? Like, what? How were you able to get from very basic graphics to like very high level professional graphics in such a short time? Like, do you have
Yeah.
something you can attribute that to?
Yeah, so I'm using Unity. It's pretty much a like Unreal Engine,
Mm,
but from my research, I think it's more for using AI to develop games. I can be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. My agent is the one really using it, and my goal with the agent was like, hey, let's get the proof of concept out. Hey, we got trending. Now let's double down on it. This is the target. I said a target. This is what I want the game to look like. I even like generated, an AI mock-up of what I wanted the game to look like, and this surpasses it. But I said, hey, this is what we need to do. Spawn like an agent. Let's do research on how we can use what are the best tools that you can use, that you can orchestrate, and you can run in a loop to develop the game. And it connects to my other computer. I have a 4090 graphics card in there. It builds the game with Unity via SQL. It's like completely headless. It runs commands, connects to the computer. It tests the game, checks the server. It does everything, and I just review it, and then I say, hey, let's do this. This is our roadmap. It has an entire roadmap for us, where we're going to do. We're going to connect multiple maps together, all these crazy things, and keep developing the game. But the agent setting a goal is how you get to where you want to be, really.
wow, wow. So this is the second moment today where my mind's been absolutely blown by where we are at with AI. Like we've been chatting Quantic, we've been chatting about AI now for months, probably close to a year now. And still to this day, like you see on the timeline how quickly AI is advancing, but seeing that you can single-handedly build such like a S tier game by yourself is insane. Quantic, where are you at, my friend?
Yeah, so like this is the thing, Trav. We don't want to talk about AI. We want to take action, right? And we want to
Yeah,
encourage people to take action as well and to show us amazing things like the one that Eric has built. Like all of this stuff was built by agents. The product is crazy, right? This is
yeah,
this is something that you just cannot have in any other time in history. Now you can have this, and Eric is a perfect, let's say, success story of how this goes, right? Like someone who has been vibe coding goes down the rabbit hole and then eventually creates something that can go viral, probably make money out of it. But if not, like it's an amazing thing. It's not a contribution for the rest of humanity. You know what I mean? It's great. It feels great. And this is something that
100%.
anyone, anywhere can now do. Actually, this is a question for Eric in terms of cost. What are your current AI spendings right now?
Great question.
Yeah, I mean it's split across multiple things, subscription services. I have a few Claude Max subscriptions, GPT subscription, maybe $500 a month for two Claude subscriptions. One is 200, one is 100, and then one GPT for 100. So those are like my costs monthly to run a swarm of agents. I try to get as much usage I can out of all the plans, so that way it's worth it. But that's pretty much where I'm at usage wise. API costs not much really. I'm just using the usage. You know, I did use Quen 3.7 Max. It's a new model that came out recently, and it's really good for prototyping stuff. But the Opus and GPT models are really good.
Incredible, man. Sorry, go
So
ahead there,
we're
Quantic.
talking that anyone can do this, and your budget is roughly $500. Am I correct?
Yes, anyone can do this. All you really need is the time, you know, and that's the advantage I have because I have a business myself. It's a social media agency that I've built over the years, and since January hit, January 1st, I said I'm going to go all in on AI, and every single day from 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. or longer, I build with agents, you know, and that's like when OpenClaw released, I realized like, hey, I can go all in on this because last year and years before, I've been using agents to kind of automate tasks. Really wanted an agent that can control my computer. And now that OpenClaw is out, Hermes agents out, and they're open source, controls your computer, you just plug in the model, you can do anything, really.
My mind's
Literally,
blown.
you can do anything. And the first time I experienced doing a complete task from my phone that was controlling all of my systems and it got the shit that I wanted done correctly, I was like, this is it. This is the end, right? Um, this is how the future is going to work. And today, Trav and Eric, yeah, two things that I wanted to share. One is about the app that we have been building, which is like the most early prototype you can think of, but it's still good enough so you can test it out. And then I want to dive deeper into Eric's game itself so that people can actually see what you can do, how you can participate, and learn about, I don't know if you have a roadmap or how serious are you actually? This is a question I have for you. How serious are you about like going all in with this game, right? Because this is like, I would say it's kind of out of or your initial expertise, if I'm correct.
No, yeah, definitely. It has been my main focus for the last 3 weeks. It's gone trending this month, and it's been my focus. I've still developed and adjusted other projects that I maintain and done some open source work with some local models. I'm actually fine tuning and training a model right now as well. So I'm doing multiple things at once just because I have different agents with different computers and different tasks. So it is 100% of my time, and now that I have the ability to use Opus 4.8, I think I will be able to accelerate development even more.
Right. Right. And yeah, just to clarify on the point of having multiple agents and how that looks like in reality. So this is what happens on my case. I had my cloud code session for work, right? So that runs on my terminal and it does prototypes, gives me research ideas, reports, whatever, right? But it's mostly related to my daily work. I work at Fleur, by the way, as a DevRel, and then I have my personal projects, right? I'm building different things, including this with what matters. And for that, I'm using Hermes connected with my account, ChatGPT, Codex, whatever. Um, and those were completely separate. And then at some point, I was out of credits in one side. The other one didn't have like the whole context, but there were some things that they could be sharing and it would be beneficial. So I asked Cloud Code and Hermes, hey guys, how can we solve this? And they find their own system with MD files, different sessions. They built a small terminal, and they are now working together. Like it is still not perfect, but essentially what I did was nothing advanced as a forward deployer or AI specialist or anything like that. I just ask and keep grinding. And I don't know how this has been evolving in your case, and what is kind of your current setup, and how we can advise people to actually get started with all this.
No, definitely. I think the main thing you need to do is start with anything, and that's first with research. Use ChatGPT, talk to it, tell it what you want to do. Hey, I want to use these new open source agent harnesses because that's what it is. OpenClaw and Hermes is an agent harness. You connect your model to it, whichever provider you use. If you're using cloud or if you have a good computer, like I have a 4090, you can run a local model on there, and that way you can, kind of use it for free. It's just electricity costs. If you have a Mac, certain M chips, M3 and above, has really good performance too based on the RAM you have. So first thing I would do is just go to ChatGPT. Hey, talk to it like you normally would, but just preface like this is my goal. Then you start it up with OpenClaw or Hermes. I'm not sure on the recent OpenClaw updates exactly how it is. I know people have had issues here and there with it, and some other things along those lines with how they maintain the project. I have my own version of it, a fork that I've developed. It's a version that's maybe 2 months outdated from what they have officially, but I've changed it so much that it's perfect for my use case. And that's the beauty of these projects. You can clone the source code. You can use an agent to say, hey, this is what I do like, this is what I don't like. Make it better for my use case. So that way it has the specific roles and setup that you want. For example, if you're using different interfaces like Claude Code or anything like that, you can orchestrate it from OpenClaw. You can orchestrate it from Hermes. It can spawn the Claude agent for you as well. So it really depends on your use case, but what you really need to understand is the framework and the idea behind it, because agents run when you send them a message and they respond. You can have them do automated tasks through cron jobs, and eventually they run out of session context. So it's either 512 context or a million, um, and it degrades over time. So the other thing you really need is a proper memory management system. There are open source tools or paid tools you can get. I don't really use anything like that. I just use like what you mentioned, MD files, for session to session, and an orchestration system that I've developed as a skill. So my main agent has these skills. You can develop a skill is what you call it, which is a workflow, and the agent can call that skill when it needs to do certain things. And that's pretty much how you get started. You fine tune it for your use case. I've used OpenClaw and Hermes every day for as long as I can, so I'm like probably a top 0.1% user of it. I know a lot about the quirks and features. I even published some stuff about the swarm specifically in my Hermes workspace, and the news research company has also published things along the same lines after same time. So we all figure out the same stuff through research, through trial and error, because you figure out, hey, I need better memory, I need a better orchestration system, I need better tools. I need more access to certain things.
Unreal. Well, that's extremely valuable. I will definitely be clipping this part of the conversation. And while we're chatting about this here, real quick, I wanted to ask you, while we're addressing people on like brand new users who are looking to get started. One of the things we've been talking a lot about on our live stream recently has been security with running AI agents. Any tips on how to keep your data secure, how to keep your application secure?
Yeah, I mean, first you can start with a sandbox with Docker. If you don't know how to set that up, you can ask your agent or ask ChatGPT. What I do is a separate user on my MacBook. I'm on a MacBook right now. It's a non-admin account, and I've only given or put stuff on there that's not so sensitive. Browsers are a little different. You may not want to save certain things or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you use a really state-of-the-art model like Opus or GPT, if you build the right security system with it, so it's not able to be prompt injected. It's not that it's impossible. It can happen. But if you build the right system and you're very careful with what your agent reviews online, because it can be prompt injected from doing research, for example.
Wow.
Um, and the possibilities are endless with hackers. Who knows? But if you sandbox your agent in a way that it doesn't really have much access to stuff, you never put your keys in the chat with it, you keep them all in a separate environment, the agent sandboxed, it doesn't have access to stuff, then you're able to kind of keep things under lock. That's really the gist of it. And you give it a little bit at a time until you're more confident with what you want to give it access to. I wouldn't give it like its own Gmail account or its own X account. Like back when everything started, everyone's like, "Hey, you can have it go through your email." Go. I don't want it to go through my email. You know, like yeah, you can automate your email system so you're on top of it, or you can automate your X posting. You know, I use it for research on X before, but I really just do my own research and I'll put it into my timeline to do my own Gmail stuff. I don't want it to have another liability, you know, I have to worry about.
Smart. No, that's really good to know. So just to kind of review here, the um, keeping kind of its access out from X and Gmail is a very good security uh, rule, I guess. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Awesome, Eric. I appreciate you, my friend. Quantic, shall we pivot the conversation real quick and chat about the app that we are launching?
Yeah, trap. And unfortunately, I'm checking my system here. I'm not confident moving anything, opening anything because I think it can crash anytime. So if you can give me a hand, you already know the app, right? You already
Yes,
have the link. We don't have a new domain, but perhaps what we can do is this. Let's give Eric now the opportunity to showcase the app that he has so that people can see it. While in the meantime, you can test the flow of our own application so that we can show it afterwards. And you can
perfect.
share the screen and show how you go about signing with your wallet and what you can do with it and whatnot.
That sounds great. That sounds great. I'll pull that up in the background, and yeah, Eric. In the meantime, I'd love to for you to give us a tour of this of Hermes World if you can.
Yes, because I think we have a new release today. Am I right, Eric?
Oh, you are on mute, my friend.
Yeah, my bad. So yeah, I do have a new release. I've been working on a few things here and there. This game, I'm actually on my PC, so it's the quality may not be the best. But I'm on my computer that's right here because I've tested a build on this PC that's a little different from what I have on the Mac at the moment. So in this version, you'll be able to go to another map. This is like the Kingdom map that I released, so everyone can come play on it. It's pretty, cool as far as like what you can do. NPCs and all those other things are available in like another build. My proof of concept was really to now release it, test the server system, test other things, see if everyone's getting access to it, and then I'm going to update the specific uh, use for the actual game as far as like the questing and everything. Those things should work. But as far as like dialing in 100%, like for example, like these floating tents, this is an older build that I've released just because I wanted to get it working. And then the training ground that I was mentioning is right here, which is the other map that you guys saw in the in my X post. So this is
Right.
like the training map that is going to be released today. I'm pretty much done with it. I have the Windows client here, as you can see. I'm on the Windows, and you know the graphics compared to the other map is completely different. It's a completely different world, and what I really want to do is have that world and this world mesh together. Fix anything that I can so it does the same thing, it looks the same, and connect them in one big map. Because right now I just like did a teleport command, for example, so I can get over here. So I'm building it so you can just venture around the map. This is the map right here. You can
Wow.
venture around the map. It's like Skyrim almost, so you can just keep venturing. The fog is really heavy in this. I haven't seen it like this because this is like a new build I did with the graphics.
Right.
So it's like super like photorealistic. It's looking. But the premise of the game is you join the game, you can quest, you can level up. There's monsters right here. There's different classes, different characters, different quests. And what you can do is have your agent launch its own version of the game. So I've tested it with my agent on development. I had it built into the game as a pipeline. So the agent connects via API. It runs its own game version on your hardware, and it can walk around, talk to you, and you can pretty much talk to it in the game. You can whisper to it if you want. And what I really want to get added is the ability to voice chat to the agent. So think metaverse, but actually real,
Yeah.
because your agent that's running on your hardware that you can say, hey, can you go look up this, or what calls do we have today, or how's the latest build? Instead of me going to my computer typing it, I go in the game, I turn on the voice chat, my agent's right next to me, I can talk to my agent. Like that's really what the game is going to be. There's an arena where you can fight people. Obviously, there's a social. There is gear modification to upgrade your gear. There's auctions. There's a whole bunch of things. Crafting. Pretty much, I set out to say, hey, how do all these MMORPGs work? The base game, the quest system, the balancing system. How can I get that into our game? So it's kind of built everything around there. There's a ranking system for everyone who's played, built in, and you can even have a pet. So like for example, you can spawn a pet right here. Let's see where it's at. Yeah, right here. Summon
That's
the pet.
amazing.
You have like a spider pet. I think I found two of them, and then you can even get a horse, which I demoed last night. I did a live stream when I released the game, and I have like an admin panel so I can like spawn stuff. Gain, and I will add a horse so you guys can see. And boom, there it is.
So
The
for our viewers
horse.
here, this hasn't been released yet, so this is a very exclusive sneak peek on some new features that. Sorry, just I may have misspoke. Has the horse been released, or it has not been released yet?
It's released. I don't think you can get it.
Okay,
That's the other part. It has to be in the game. I can spawn it, because I am playing the game from
of
the
course.
admin panel. But I have to release it so you can actually get access to it. There's a horse, and then there's something else that I'll show you that is pretty cool.
That's incredible,
Uh,
man.
let's see. But as a kid, everyone like plays these games. I played a bunch of World of Warcraft, RuneScape,
Yes.
all these games, and it's like your dream. Like I wish I could make my own game, just for fun. But imagine you can make your own game and you can publish
Oh
it for the world to use, and you can
man.
put a dragon.
Okay, now you just brought me back. I remember the first time I got a dragon in World of Warcraft, or even like a flying mount. It was a good day, man. Seeing this live on your game now, this is very nostalgic, and this is absolutely incredible, dude. Like, wow. Like,
Yeah, it's
like,
insane. And
can
this
you
is
can
just
you
like very early build. Yep.
yeah. Do you have any insight kind of to be able to compare and contrast kind of your situation being, are you a solo builder actually? Let's clarify that first. Are you basically building this on your own?
Yeah, 100% on my own. I have all the time in the world that a human can possibly have because I just wake up, work, and walk my dogs, eat food, and work. I have nothing else. I have a wife and a daughter, and my wife takes care of my daughter and takes care of me with food, whatever I need, and
Yeah.
I just have nothing but time, and that's like the benefit I have over most people. You have to go to work or you have to work on certain things. Obviously, I still do work on my business and I do work on other projects and stuff, but being able to lock in 100%, talk to my agent as much as I can all day,
Mhm.
being able to be on my laptop, which I'm using right now, and I'm connected to my other computer right over here, it allows me to work nonstop, and that's
Right.
really what everyone needs. You need the right system, you need the right optimization of yourself. You know, a lot of people, do other certain things to get focused. I drink coffee and I'm
Eh,
locked in. I actually haven't had
nice.
my coffee for the day. So as soon as I lock in the coffee, I'm grinding for a couple hours. So I have a few things in the pipeline. This version of the game is bundled. I'm testing it right now to see if there's any bugs, so I can release this out. The launcher will also now have like an auto update feature, and then at the same time, I'm building the web version so everyone can play on the web. The token I want to add in the game so it's you can get your own house, do this, and do a bunch of other things. But that's pretty much the gist of it. It's just an open world. You can play with your agents. You can quest. There's an entire storyline. There's NPCs. Uh, eventually, there's going to be multiple maps, multiple seasons, if you say,
Wow.
that have
Okay.
different like agendas. I want to add Easter eggs in the game, so every week
Yes.
I'll do like an Easter egg drop. You can get access to the token, you can get Solana, you can get any token if you solve the Easter egg. So it's like Ready Player One in a real game. You go, you solve the quest, and you get paid. No game's paying you to play it. And it won't be that much of a budget, really. $25 if you hit it 10 winners a week, something like that until we can scale it and give out more.
Yeah.
But Easter eggs scattered around the world, and you get stable coins. It's not like, hey, you just get any, you get stable coins, you can do whatever you want with it. I don't know the regulation around all of it. I'll do research into it, but this is what I want to do. I want to make it so you can play, you can build with your agent, you can earn money, you can pretty much just live online, and that's pretty much where everything's going.
Not only that, but while you're playing, you could have your agent doing work for you and be speaking with it.
Exactly.
Like that's the vision that popped into my head is instead of just sitting there typing with your agent, like plotting world domination here, you can now do that while playing an incredible game here. And actually that's kind of getting back to the Web3 component here. Well, I remember when kind of I was very it was very early on in the Web3 gaming conversation here. And the first thing that popped into my mind is how cool would it be to incorporate like tokens, like blockchain tokens into the auction system, like for example, in World of Warcraft here. And now here we are, you're building a Web3 game with AI agents in a very similar game to World of Warcraft, Skyrim, and all of that, talking about the actual economy part of it, is that something that you've considered having kind of like an auction house sort of economy in the game here?
Yeah, 100%. That is in the roadmap. And I do have a roadmap. I'll publish it today on X as an article because I've been doing that. There is an auction house that I have in the game. It's just tied up to, I think, the in-game currency, of course.
Mhm.
But that is what I want to do. Incorporate that. I want to have an item shop like Fortnite. You can buy skins, you can buy stuff, cosmetic items with whatever you want. So that way it's like pretty fully immersed. I'm gonna make updates to like the HUD, the HUD, make these menus a little nicer and stuff. It's pretty cool, but I want to make it, nicer, like really nice. The map is pretty cool as well. I want to make it, improvements here and there, because really the coin is very cool. The Hermes World token is what the community launched. They gave me fees to it, and those fees have funded the build. I've paid a lot of money besides the cloud bills that I discussed in development, in certain things, in bunch of things to get access to it. Even hardware, I had to buy new hardware. I'm running out of space on my computer. It does take a lot of space to build games because each
Yeah.
iteration is like 2 gigs, 3 gigs, and I'm running through hundreds of iterations. I'm fixing bugs. I keep the builds still on the computer so I can reference them. It's really not easy, but I figure these people that are building the game are on a computer just like me. I just have access to Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.5. And so do they. But I don't think anyone's really doing it like that. There are other games that have been released recently. If you guys have seen Kintara, I think is one of them. It's an isometric open world game with a token as well. There's a couple other games, Tiny World, that I've seen here and there recently. And it's pretty cool concepts. Everyone's kind of shifting towards this Web3 tokenized gaming Solana gaming thing, which is great. It's a refreshing thing in a world where Bitcoin's dropping, everything's kind of stagnant, but Solana is really powering this ecosystem, which new to me definitely. I've been around the crypto space, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff, but like the Solana community is very, very strong.
Absolutely. No, that's been something that I've been very bullish on since day one. Of all the chains here, I feel like Solana is definitely one of the ones that would do very well in kind of the Web3 gaming world. Um, yeah, and real quick, I'm just want to acknowledge here. I think Quantic is still having some connectivity issues. I do see you here
Yep.
with us, Quantic. I don't know if you can hear us, but the Riverside suggested that if you want to exit and then come back, potentially that could help. Um, so yeah, we'll chat in the background here, and yeah, see if we can get you back here, Quantic. Real quick, I do want to pull up the token here for our viewers who might be curious. Let me just
Yeah.
double check this with you here. I do have the chart pulled up, I believe. Very nice looking market
Let me
cap, by
turn
the
off my
way.
screen share. Yeah, let me turn off the screen share if it's.
There we go. I don't see you sharing your screen on my end here, so it should be
Oh no, I
okay.
wasn't sharing my screen this entire time.
Oh no,
Was I
you
sharing
were.
my screen at all for the?
You were.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay, cool, perfect.
it just went
Yes,
down
yes.
like maybe 30 seconds
Okay,
ago.
perfect, awesome.
Perfect. So this is your token here, Hermes World.
Yeah, so it
340K
was
market
released like I
cap.
mentioned. Yeah, it was released by the community. I've did the Dex, community takeover. I'm in the process of doing the pump fund. They're just kind of getting back to me, but I've had supply. I locked supply as well. I've published this through fees. I've bought supply and locked it. I want to incorporate that into the game and how exactly to do it securely for people, burning tokens. All those things I'm kind of new at, but that's the direction I'm going in now with the future builds. But it's been doing really well. Every time I post about it on X, it goes up. The all-time high is 394K. Hit it yesterday, which is great. I think it can go
Congratulations.
to a million. I don't see why not. And that's great for the game. Because it's fully self-sustainable now, like, which is crazy.
100%. 100%. No, this is one of the healthiest looking charts I've seen on Pump here. And the fact that, I mean, yeah, it looks so healthy, and then you've got so much utility behind it. And honestly, you haven't even begun the token integration yet, unless I'm mistaken here. That's
Exactly.
that's
Yeah.
phenomenal. That's really exciting here.
Yeah.
Perfect. So another question I had for you there, Eric, is wondering if you can maybe shed some insight on kind of how the AI agent component works. Like, can you walk through what the experience is like for a user? Do they have to have a subscription? Do they have to have an agent set up on their computer? Like, how does that work?
So, what you need is a device that you can host the agent from. You can use an old MacBook like I have here. You can use a PC that you have. It's different setups, but you do need a place. Or you can use a cloud server. You maybe pay $5 a month, $20 a month, and you can host it there in the cloud, not on your computer, so it's secure. But I wouldn't really like to use a cloud server. I like to keep everything on my own hardware. First, I would start with the $20 Chat GPT subscription, which most have already. You can repurpose that and use the same login to log into OpenClaw to log into Hermes Agent. It works. You get good usage out of it. You test it out. You say, hey, how do I set this up? First, you want to use your ChatGPT history, summarize me, who I am, what I do, give me a file to send to my agent. It writes up, you send it to your agent, review it, update your memory, everything. And this is the goal, what I want to do with you. If I'm an editor, hey, I want to work on my editing pipeline. I want to be able to source content. I want to be able to automate as much as I can editing wise. So when I edit, it's pretty seamless. Hey, I do sales. I need you to get me sales training stuff. Like find this, find this. It really depends on your use case. But at the end of the day, everyone now has access to a personal Jarvis, like Iron Man, personal assistant that they can literally make into exactly how they want. And, that's what I've done. First, I just started off like, hey, I want to help with my business, automate as many things as I can connected to my business so that way I can have more visibility on what everyone's doing. Then it's turned into, hey, I started building tools because the base OpenClaw and the base Hermes agent don't have the interface that I want, which I built Hermes Workspace, which is a separate interface for Hermes Agent, because Hermes Agent lives in a terminal, and what I built is its own standalone app. That is really what had me trending really like in the community. I've gained 8,000 followers and 9 million impressions in the last 2 months just from
Wow.
posting open source stuff. Yeah. And it's great, because I'm not really a developer. Obviously now I'm a developer, you can say, but I'm more of an agentic engineer, and it's more of a class of engineer now that exists who orchestrate agents to engineer products. And I really have the distribution, I would say, down as far as how to go to market on X, how to properly promote stuff and build hype around it, visibility, and communicate with the community. Because I'm nonstop on the platform on Twitter, I'm nonstop interacting with people. I spot trends, I figure out what to do, and not every tweet you post is going to do great, but just post as many times as you can. I try to post 25 to 50 times per day, and that's retweets included, and reply 200 times a day. Like, I don't hit it every time, but that's like what I do because I'm on Twitter, back on my agent, working on stuff. So I'm just like in a loop because I'm learning and I'm posting and I'm building in public. That's really what has done well for me because everyone sees me talk about what I'm going to build, update them on how I'm building it, the progress, my train of thought, examples, and they're interested. And I inspire people to do the same. Like, oh, I can do this too,
Yeah,
or
that's
hey, I
right.
should do this, and people are starting to do it. Yep.
Man, so not only have you given us alpha on how to start your own AI agent swarm, but you've also given us alpha on how to grow and crush it on X here. So thank you so much for that, Eric. Quantic, you are back with us here. Let's test out your connection. How are you?
Y- Yeah, no, I think I was all this time I've been back and forth with my agent to try and figure it out. The connection issue is so funny that we're having this while doing the stream. So you can see both sides, right? You can see how you can make tremendous progress, build a completely new life with this stuff, or how you can be trapped sometimes in a hell for random stuff, and you just have to solve it, right? I'm lucky enough to being able to solve these kind of problems. But right now I have a question, Trav. Are you ready, by the way, to show our app in these last few minutes?
Yes, yes, I am.
Cool. One question that I wanted to clarify with Eric is, will there be a possibility in the future at some point to kind of connect in a more interoperable way in this game in which I can bring other assets perhaps or other characters? So I'm thinking about this very crazy idea in which all of these small communities that, are not super big, like even ourselves, from the shipyard community, could come into a platform with our own avatars, our own currency, and then people could interact in your world, right? And they can trade, they can do stuff, but it's like our own thing, but built on your world, and it has like multiple swaps and routes to move assets between these, different parts of the game, I guess. Is that something even possible? I don't know.
Definitely, and now that you mention it, I can lay the groundwork for that pipeline. All it is really explaining it to the agent and say, hey, like, I think we should add this into the game. Let's start building it out from what we already have so we can integrate. I'm already building in the item shop asset situation I mentioned earlier. So all it takes is having a sort of affiliate asset shop for projects. So you can kind of join as a separate affiliate, have your own access to the game like I have admin. You can upload the assets and things that you want, and then you can put it in the pipeline so it's added to the game. And I can make it sort of like the Grand Exchange in RuneScape where everyone's kind of there and everyone's there. It's like Fortnite creative, and you can kind of be in there with your team, with your supporters, and everyone's kind of in the world in your own section. You can have your own map, really, too. Like, you can use it as your own place to just live online. And I definitely see that in the pipeline. I'm writing it down so I don't lose track of it. But that is very good idea right there, and I would definitely add it. And
Man,
something I do is I write down
Yeah,
all my
keep me
ideas
posted about that.
all
I
the
would
time.
be, dude, that's amazing. Keep me posted about that so we can explore as well. We're starting building in a more serious way as well. We are not there yet, like in the stage that you are building this amazing game. We have now mini apps that we are building, right, for our community, and it includes our token. Trav, I don't know if you want to like share your screen, so perhaps we show the flow that we have right now. We show, and perhaps actually Eric can give us some feedback on what to do in the future, given his experience on the things that he has built and the community around. I think that could be of use for everyone. There you go.
here we are. Excellent. So, Quantic, this is your creation. So why don't you direct us through this? Maybe introduce it to us, and then you can guide me on what you'd like me to highlight.
Essentially, you can navigate the page and see your rank, because what we want to do is like an app for the community where they can see their rank and their contributions and where we're going next. Right now, everything is kind of tailored towards the initial meme coin community members that we have in pump.fun, on X, and whatever. But the idea is to build this more in a full like community or social kind of thing with some mini games and other ingredients here. So Trav, the first problem that we are solving though is something that we can provide to the people that are holding our tokens, right? We have been creating materials, reports, prompts for our community for a long time, and we didn't have a way for them to access for those who have the token. So now we have a solution for that, and that's kind of the thing that you now, right?
100%, 100%. No, it's sorry, I'm multitasking here and I'm terrible at that. I'm just trying to find my wallet address so that I can actually plug it in here. But yeah, no, like we've kind of since day one of launching our token, the ship token here, that's been the goal is to find different ways to actually incorporate it into different apps and actually make these opportunities available for holders so they're not just sitting and holding a token, they can actually do stuff with it, similar to what you're trying to accomplish, but obviously in a very, very different way here. So here we go. Found my wallet
Yeah,
address.
it's a great concept you guys have, really. I think that there's a gap in the market for a community that helps builders ship and product kind of tokenize their assets or their builds, and some people are starting to do it. So they're creating that launch pad for builders to join and launch their own tokens and have utility in their own apps. And I think this is really cool as well.
Oh, that I appreciate that, Eric. That's
So
that
Trav, you
definitely
can
some
connect you
perfect. The wallet is connected here. You can see that if the market cap 2x's, this will be my bag value. 4x, this will be my bag value. 10x, it'll be this. That's awesome here. I love this. This part's really cool. This is my guild rank. I am a Kraken, top command, guild legend, deep water signal. Next rank is max. I think that's super cool. Top 15 percentile holder, which is also awesome. Number 4. This is awesome. What's this one here?
there you
Agentic.
go. Can you unlock the material? That's the thing.
All right. Open gated file. Let's check this out. Okay. I am getting an error here. Uh, allow me to share my screen and I'll show you here. 1 second. Screen. Here we go. So this is what I am getting. Oh, you're on mute there, Quantic. Oop, Quantic, you're still on mute, my friend.
There you go. Okay, so oh, it is not working now.
No, yeah, I clicked on the file and it went to this error code here.
Right. So okay, great that this happened live because this is one of the things that I wanted to show people, which is you can vibe code everything, right? But when it comes to production, there is a strict process of testing. So here, what happens is that probably between the build out and the deployment, something fell, and clearly we didn't have the internal testing that we needed, right? I don't know what Castro was doing, what you were doing, what I was doing, that we didn't test this properly. Like when I deploy it, I tested it worked, and then I handed that to you, and I got disconnected from it. But then, you need to test more than one time. So this is kind of the thing that I wanted to share, which is like the entire process, because this would be like the initial part in which, you're creating a very basic app that unlocks some access with tokens. And then you would have like the other end of the spectrum with Eric, which is like you already have a game, in-game assets, multiple characters. It's completely crazy in the direction that you have evolved. And what I wanted to stress here from your Eric, if you could point, what would be the way in which that people that are young enough at the same stage that we are right here with this app to get to like a more serious and productive scene in which people can actually really good stuff that are not failing, right?
Yeah, no, good question. And it's really the agents that are managing the project, what they have access to, what the agents are specifically, like what model they are, if it's GPT or if it's Claude, for example. I find that GPT models are good at coding as like a coder. Claude agents are good at orchestrating better and obviously coding as well too, but I think GPT is really solid. They do the tasks well. GPT isn't as the best on front end development, um, and I think the Claude agents are better at front end development, really. So what I would do first is kind of ground where the project is, using an agent to audit what it is right now, kind of figuring out where you are on your roadmap, because you do need a roadmap. That is very important. When building anything, you really need an entire spec, a plan of exactly what you're doing, how you're going to get there, and where you are now. You need to do research on other things that are kind of in your space. Maybe something like this exists in some way that's open sourced, and you can have an agent go pull research on that, and then you can learn from something like that, repurpose what you need. If it doesn't exist, it's a new category, explaining exactly what you have for your agent, so that way it builds it is the next thing, and then also having that agent or a set of agents do different shakedown or smoke tests to test for bugs, make sure the entire flow works, make sure everything's connected properly, doing an entire audit on everything. That is kind of what needs to be done. I'll share my screen right now of Hermes Workspace. This is what I initially built for like the community and everything. For some reason, the dashboard isn't connecting properly, but like this is the dashboard. You can see the UI built by Claude. The Claude interface is just a lot nicer, a lot prettier than like GPT, for example. I have files, I have access to my sessions, I have access to like a swarm of agents, like I was mentioning, all in here. And it starts from in a spec, like, hey, I want to get Hermes agent out of a terminal, and I want it to be like ChatGPT as far as like how ChatGPT works. You have your session, you have your chat. I also have like a side chat right here as well. This is probably not the best production version, just like how you guys also have issues. I have issues as well, but it just depends on the build, like kind of what's running. And I would tell my agent like, hey, can you look on this local host because this is a local site, see why it's not connecting because this is not connecting to like my actual Hermes agent, so it's not really pulling up the data or loading properly. So it'll go and look through like, oh, hey, this isn't working. I'll reset it. For example, same thing with your use case. Hey, can you figure out why this I'm having a blocker here? It'll do the same thing and get you out of there. But starting with the spec, planning it out, having the right task MD file, breaking it into subtasks, assigning different agents, and then hitting each checkpoint is basically how you build stuff. In the scale of it, and you start scaling up more, better quality, better smoke test, better security because you want to make sure there's no security flaws or anything like that. And you work your way up, from app to from website first. Really, a landing page is really hard. A SaaS tool or an actual tool that has a database, user authentication, all those things also are, you gradually get there. And you can only do that with the right context. So you have the right agent, the right context, and the right plan, you can execute.
Man, that sounds like a great progression for someone just breaking into vibe coding to follow. Start with the basics, start with the website, then work your way up to the SaaS tool, and then the world is your oyster at this point here. That's really exciting. That tool that you said that was the first tool that you created that you published here as well. Very, very clean. I love all the features in there. I love all like the little visualizations that you have for each agent here as well. I think that's super classy here, man.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist, and what I set out to do is just like build what I want because I want the visual layer of like, hey, because my agent can orchestrate agents and tell me X, Y, and Z, but I can see it, and first I started with OpenClaw and I built what I just showed you, but for OpenClaw. This one's for Hermes Agent, and that one was what I took off first with. It did around 300 stars, and it was a great proof of concept that I can build
Wow.
something, make a better visual layer to OpenClaw. Then Hermes Agent came out and it was like so much better. And I said, hey, but it's in a terminal because you use a terminal right now. And it's like nobody wants to be in a terminal. I actually find myself using a terminal here and there now. That's why I have to also develop the workspace. But you need something to go through all your sessions. All the sessions are on one side, all your dashboard information's on one side. The different submenus all have different things, built-in files, terminal if you want to talk in a terminal, and also mobile. That's something else I built into that. So on my phone, I have it connected, and it's not like a mobile app. It's a mobile tail scale is
Oh,
what it's
wow.
called. So it connects to your computer. So I have the same thing. I have like authentication on here. I have the same thing on there on my phone. So I can just pick it up when I go on a walk, continue talking to the agent, like Telegram or Discord that you can, but it's built for my use and have full visibility. So whatever you want to use, you can develop it, really.
That's amazing, man. I'm really excited about all of this stuff. I'm certainly going to be putting a lot more effort into building up my own agent swarm here. And maybe actually we're gonna wrap it up here pretty quick here, Eric. But maybe can you tell our audience here how they can get involved with Hermes World, how they can jump into the work that you're doing, how they can follow you. Maybe just kind of give out any final calls to action for the community here, because we actually have a very decent amount of people with us right now. Just on our Web3 Matters account alone, we're pushing 300 viewers, plus everyone who's watching from all of the other platforms where we are on now. It would be great if you can share, how people can get involved.
Awesome. So Hermes World is hermes-world.ai. It's Hermes World AI on X. We post stuff on there. My Instagram, my Twitter is outsource with an underscore afterwards, so outsource underscore. That's my Twitter where I post pretty much anything building in public. Really, I just anything that I'm working on, I post, I publish, uh, and I try to interact with as much people as I can. I'm literally on there as much as I can to try to be engaging with people. Hermes World, you can jump in, download the client now if you have a Windows or if you have a Mac, and you can play it, test around with it, play around with it. I'm publishing a new build, the one that I just showed you right now, in probably like an hour. I was actually doing the final shakedown right now, and this is part of my shakedown right now, what I was just doing. So I'm going to be testing it a little more, and then I'll release this version so people can come and play in this version while I'm building the web version, so you can just jump on the web and play the same thing. Then after that, I'm working on the token utility in the game, and pretty much that's when we'll be fully launched, and then I can develop more. But that's pretty much how you get involved, and all you need to do is follow people on X that build. Uh, the content creators are cool, like there's some people that just make like those videos like, hey, drop what you're doing, like clickbait. Like it's good content. They might not show you exactly what to do, and it's not that I show people exactly what to do because I just post everything. But you kind of learn through what people post. You kind of, and you can always, comment on my stuff. I even have a subscription, that I did calls with people. Like, hey, if you subscribe, I do a one-on-one call with you. I've done a few calls with people, helped them a lot, really, and they've started building more because I kind of give them one-on-one. Hey, like, what do you do? How can I help you? I'll kind of give you kind of my like workflow and you can use it too. So that's really what you need to do. Just get involved. Set the time. If you work a regular job, if you don't have the time, set at least an hour a day. That's like as much as you can do because it is important to invest in your future. I have the domain building the future, because I'm trying to build a future. And I got that domain when I started all this because I had a vision for what I'm doing to build whatever I want, and that's really what we're doing. We're in the future already. We have agents that can work on your computer while you go to sleep. I literally had my agent orchestrate a swarm of agents last night to build what you just saw, the map, and then overnight it landed and I tested it. Like that's what happened. So I have 24 hours of uptime of work because I work throughout the day. I sleep 4 to 6 hours, and the agent works the other half, on a loop. So you can build anything, just type. Get whisper flow, that's not a plug, but get something to dictate to your computer. So you just press a button, you talk to it, and that's it. Very easy, and just set the time. That's really it.
Incredible, man. Well, hey, speaking about it being the future, I think you said it perfectly earlier. Each and every single one of us now actually has a Jarvis at our disposal here. Not only that, multiple of them, which is absolutely mind blowing. And if you guys, our viewers here, haven't been convinced by this point on whether or not you should jump into using agents in your day to day workflow, I'm not sure what will. Eric, my man, thank you so much for joining us today here. This has been a mind-blowing experience for me personally here. Like truly you are opening my eyes to the capabilities and the opportunity that exists with AI and AI agents. This is well beyond any of my expectations here. Congratulations on all of your success. Definitely give Eric a follow on X. Definitely check out Hermes World. I certainly will be doing that here as well. Any final thoughts, any final comments you wanted to share before we sign off there, Eric?
No, I mean, thanks for having me. It's great. I was on one of these before, when I was just building Hermes Workspace, the tool I just showed, and now that I'm building a game, it only shows you how success compounds, how,
Yes.
growth projects. And the only way to do that is just by locking in on yourself, setting a goal and just getting it done. There's no excuses. If you have two eyes, two ears, and a computer, you can get it done. It's just your time and your focus. And if you want to build that life for yourself of freedom, whatever freedom is for you, just go for it. That's really all I do every day. I've been on this path for some years now, trying to figure out what I like to do in life, and it's just working. You can have all the money, you can have all the stuff. It's not important. It's just loving what you do every single day and sharing it with other people to inspire other people, because we're only here for a short period of time, so we might as well continue the vibes, just like plain and simple. And I appreciate having you, me having you here. I just followed you back as well on X. I didn't even know that you followed me, so I just followed you back right now as well. So awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome, dude. Hey, I appreciate you. Excellent. And what an inspiring way to end our conversation here. So, to you, actually, Eric, maybe I'll just ask if you don't mind. We'll shut this down here in a second. If you don't mind, just hanging out in the lobby here, we'll get your footage uploaded, and we'll be able to repurpose all of this for some pretty awesome content here. I'm very excited about it, actually. And in saying all of
Awesome.
that, to our viewers, guys, I really hope you guys got something out of this conversation today. I know I did, and that is the understatement of the century here. Thank you, everyone, for participating in this conversation today. Definitely give Web3 Matters a follow. Drop a comment if you guys did learn something. And if you have any suggestions, feedback, send us a DM. We read every single one of them here. And we love to hear you guys because, of course, we are here for you. And any way that we could bring you value, we want to do that here. So, Eric, thank you so much once again. Community, appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.
Thank you.